This episode, we'll be doing the Shubunkin Shuffle. You know how to do that one, don't you? Welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. In this episode, well, like I said, we're going to be doing the Shubunkin Shuffle. See, I got to get ready for springtime. I have to know which Shubunkins are going to be bred with which. Also wanted to talk about the Joaquin Goldfish. See, I have big plans for them as well this year. Especially, well, take a look at them. They really needed to be moved into a bigger tank. So I ended up having to do a shuffle around of a lot of fish in order to get them into the 90-gallon. In fact, I wanted to get some calico coloring added to them. So here's what I decided to move. I decided to move two male Shubunkins out of this pond here. And one, well, it's got really nice calico features. It'll have some nice blue. And the other got super long fins. I know it's not going to make a perfect Watanabe, but it's going to be a close one, I think. It depends how many, if I get double finned or not, and if they're long flowing fins. I think it'll be a neat. I think I'm going to let these ones flock spawn just to see what I get. I think it's going to be interesting. But let's get back to the Shubunkins, at least for now, anyways, because, well, you know how much I love them. I decided, well, being that I've removed two of them here, that, well, I can move some of my best of the future Shubunkins that I know I'm going to be breeding this year. So I'm going to move two or three, maybe even four, into this pond. And, well, it's still early March or mid-March, and they're not going to go outside for at least 2.5 months. And this way I can figure out which ones I'm going to breed with which. And that's really important because I'm really kicking the idea of doing artificial spawn with these guys this year. Um, what do you think? Let them spawn naturally, as in pair them off? You need one female and at least two, if not three males. Or do I take the eggs from the females I want and then hand spawn the males milt into that? I don't know. I have to kick that idea around. I'm going to film it regardless, but I do want to hear from you which one you think is the best. There's always, some real risks when you do hand spawning, and you know, because you're potentially going to harm the fish, or that you're using medications to knock them out. I know you get a greater numbers spawn, as in of the eggs hatching and being fertilized when you do it. I've done it with trout before when I worked at a hatchery. So I don't know. It's a lot to think about, and I think it's going to be great. But let's get back into the main fish room and let's get rid of some of these smaller Shubunkins uh, into two different tanks. And then I'm going to do some more calls because my buddy Vince from Twisted Koi said, you know what, some body shapes aren't just right yet. So you have to move those on. And a lot of people were asking me about, they thought that the gill plates weren't covered on some of my fish. And no, they're fine. I went and checked a bunch. It's still translucent on the gill, so the fish are fine. I did find one out of that whole group when I moved them all that the gill cover wasn't intact properly, and unfortunately I had to call that. But everything else is just translucent. So when you see these fish that I've listed as up and comers, they're fine. And like a friend pointed out to me, Jody, uh, that yeah, first that comes first is body, then fins, then coloring. I more look at the body, and fins and coloration almost go hand in hand with each other to me. But it all depends what you're looking for. whether you're looking for long finned, like the American Japanese style, or if you're looking more for the traditional London Shubunkin. Man, I'd like to get some Bristols. And my last trip to Toronto, out of that, all those stores I went to, first, not one had a Shubunkin. Two, no one had Bristols. I asked, they get them in periodically, but there's really not enough demand on it. And I am kind of demanding it myself, but I just can't find them in Canada, and getting them shipped from the States is, well, almost impossible. So I'm gonna have to, go with what I've got for now. But let's get looking at the other ones that I'm looking at and see what you think. By the way, I've got a great helper help me out. It's March break, and well, he was looking for something to do. So you gonna help me move fish around today?
Yes.
So what are we gonna do? The Shubunkin shuffle, which means we're gonna take a bunch of fish out, and I need your muscles and your speed to get them from aquarium to the pond and back. Can you help me out?
Yes.
And I'm glad you decided to stay with us for a week. Great. Remember, just don't talk to Koi Man.
Why?
Because you know what happened to me when I talked to Koi Man.
For some reason, Koi Man wants me out here.
Surrender, Chris. Let the last of yourself fade. Let the snow carry you forward. Let the cold cleanse what is left.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, neither was letting me out.
You know, Ty warned me not to take you out of this. He said there could be some repercussions.
You really should have listened to him.
I'm feeling really strange right about now. Something is like taking over.
Do you feel it? The change? It is not a curse. It is an awakening. Breathe deep. Because now, Chris, you are Koi Man too.
I lost my clothes and went out in the snow. Remember? Don't talk to Koi Man. That guy right there. Don't talk to him.
Hi, Jaxson, don't worry. I only make your pa do silly things.
Ready?
Okay.
What are we going to do this week?
The Shubunkin shuffle.
And what's that mean? We're going to move the fish around? Are you going to help me catch them and move them from tank to tank?
No.
Yes, you are.
That's the Shubunkin shuffle.
Yeah, that's the Shubunkin shuffle. We're going to move fish around. We're going to get this tank organized and ready for breeding in the upcoming spring. But we're going to have to take some out. We'll also have to remove all these Joaquin because they're going to go in a 90-gallon tank. And there's 7 of those, and I'm going to be adding more to them. But first, we're going to have to take everything out of this tank. And that's a job and a half. It's a 90-gallon filled with young Shubunkins, and there's still some culls. But I've got a great helper here. It's always great to get the next generation involved and let them get their hands wet and the shirt wet. They enjoy it. And, well, they're a lot more flexible than we are. Man, he loved catching fish. Got a little soaked, but luckily I do the laundry here, so we're okay. He was a great help with 2 of us in there catching him with no time flat. I have to remove at least 3 from this 125, including that big red and white female. It was very young. I want to take out my best male Shubunkin. That's this young one right there. And an up-and-coming female who's going to make a really nice pairing with this male right here. And, well, I've got my shirtless grandson. And no, he wasn't talking to Koi Man. He just got soaked. So he decided he's going shirtless. Boy, that's a beautiful fish. This is the female I was talking about. And, well, with my grandson's speedy help, went straight into the pond. There's a lot of fish to be moved. It was certainly great to get some assistance. And, well, with a 6-year-old energy, it was perfect. Made a really good team. This is a big female. Certainly glad I had someone strong like Jaxson to move all these. Those fish fit in there perfectly.
They look great in there, and they look like they've been there all along. Now, moving all these Joaquin out, that's a lot. And now that we've taken all the fish out of the 90-gallon, we were able to put these guys in, including some really nice Shubunkins that we removed from the aquarium, including this part Shubunkin, part Joaquin. That's a male, and it's gonna make some great offspring. I wanted to take this one out too. It's a shorter fin calico. That's gonna make some great offspring with these beautiful Joaquin. The purpose of me taking out this really long fin Shubunkin was to get Watnai, if possible. I know that's not the proper way to get them, but I figured if they're going to be long fin and double finned, why not have the nice long flowing fins? It's just an experiment. If it works, great. If not, we'll still have some beautiful fish. And I'm going to let these ones flock spawn and see what happens. They'll be going out into a 300-gallon IBC tote in the summer, and I'm expecting big things from these fish. I know that the numbers that'll have double fin are going to be very low, but the ones that they do come out, I'm thinking they're going to be great. But who knows? I have been working on my Shubunkins for almost 20 years before I've got what I've got now, and I think they look pretty good. What do you think? These are obviously my fully adult breeding Shubunkins, but I always have to keep up and comers ready to come in because you're going to get maybe 17 years out of them max, and some of them are getting that age now. So it's the next generations like these ones here that I have to select. Now, speaking of selecting these, I'm only going to keep 3, maybe 4 tops, and the rest of these will all go to Vandermeer's the following day. So trying to pick a few of these is difficult. I think I know which ones I want to take, and I have to keep in mind which ones I already have, as in style. So I have to keep a variety, and obviously I want a relatively long fin, but not all. So these are the 2 I've selected so far, and they'll get into the 125. Great. I just noticed my grandson's not wearing his pants because he soaked them. Well, better him than me. These are the other 2 that are going to go into the 125. And it's always a hard decision, which ones to keep. And I'll switch that back and forth over the next couple months. In fact, there's one in particular that I may not keep. Who knows? As far as these fish go themselves, they're all going to a large pond and let them breed. These are the fish that we moved from the 90-gallon. The rest were culled or moved into a different tank. And they were just let out of the bag now. And I can't get over the coloring. Look at the blues coming out on these fish. They are, they're going to be spectacular. And these are the ones that I didn't think were going to turn out to be much. I'm really happy with last year's spawn. I've got some really great up and coming fish, and I think I'm getting a really good line going. So I'm going to have hundreds of fish to move on to Vandermeer's. But I can't get over the blue. There's no special lighting in this aquarium that's going to enhance the blue. That's just that natural blue coming out. That's for all the fish in the 125-gallon tank. These fish will all be taken to another pond where I'll allow them to put on some size and the flock spawn. There should be a couple nice fry that come out of it. You'll notice a few of these fish that I decided to keep and moved up have what appears to be no gill cover. Their gill are fine. The gill cover or plate is just translucent, and that will color up in time. So don't worry, the fish are all good. There's nothing wrong with them. I've selected 4.
I'm debating on one or two of them because they look pretty similar to each other, and I want a good variety. It is so tough picking four from that one tank. Now, this is the one I probably won't keep. There's nothing wrong with the body. In fact, the finnage is great on it. It's just I have plenty that look like that. As I stated, these fish will all go off to a pond, and I'll allow them to flock spawn. I should get some pretty good fryer. There is a good mix of male and female in here, and they're all good quality. So there should be no problem with any of the offspring. Yeah, I'm thinking some of these are definitely going to be up and coming, especially that one there. It's got some great markings of blues. As as I stated before, they will eventually have to replace these ones that are getting older, but they're still looking great, and I can't wait to breed them this year. I've been so happy with that indoor pond. It's made a world of difference, both for the fish and, well, for me. I tell you, it's been a game changer. I highly recommend it to anyone who keeps Shubunkins to have an indoor pond if you can. Now, as far as these guys go, I had to, I had to move a lot of them that I wanted to grow out, because I'd taken all the fish from the lower tank and had sold them. So we had to select a group out of this, which was difficult. There was a couple that still needed to be called, and we did that. But the choice for these to go to the lower tank was a tough one. It probably took a good hour and a half to select the ones that would go into this tank. As you can see, there was only 2 or 3 fish that were left, and that gave me the opportunity to put some really nice ones in here. These are some of the ones that are going to go in this 55 gallon. It's a tough decision which ones to move on, and I think these are probably going to be some of my best. But just to make sure, I'll be keeping the other ones for the remainder of the season. Well, the vast majority of them, anyways. I'll let these guys go in the tank here shortly. These guys truly are going to be an excellent fish. They're just getting a little bit of feed now. I've been off food for about 2 days just because I wanted to move them, and I don't really like moving them when their bellies are full. Never good results. You just get really dirty water, higher ammonia, and you don't need that. But these guys will color up over the next couple days. They're looking pretty good for fish that just got moved, and they're definitely hungry and healthy. I can't believe the colors on these, on the markings on these already. I know I've said it before, but this, it has to be my best year's spawn ever. These are truly going to be great fish. The markings, the coloring, the body shape, the finnage. Finally, after about almost 20 years of inline breeding, I think it's finally paid off. Because these are, like I said, going to be some excellent fish. And the problem is, I can only keep about 3 or 4 of them. Tough decisions to make, that's for sure. By moving those ones on and taking some out to be sold, these ones here are going to do well as. Now, this one here, you're going to notice, well, he should be called, but I've become attached to him. Obviously, I can't sell him looking like that, but I love the black tail. He does have a hooked spine. It's like maybe some Orlando was in the 3-2-1. Maybe some Aranda had been in the mix at one point. I don't know. But I think I'm going to keep him for now. I just can't find it in myself to call him. So he may end up in one of the bottom tanks and live out his life there. Kind of cool. Just can't do it. But these other fish are great. Some of them, like this one here, should have definitely gone in the lower tanks. And it gives me lots of time to look at them. There's just so many high quality ones out of this year's spawn. I can't get over it. And any of the ones you see like this, that you think the gill plate's missing, it's not. The gill plate is still translucent. So don't get all in a panic over it. I did end up making one decision to swap one out just because they look similar. This one here, body shape on this one is, well, pretty much excellent. The finish is great. It's standard. I really like the markings, the coloring. And that red, I think, is going to intensify. And the blue is as well. Really looks different now that that big female is out of this tank. And, well, my best male. I'm just not totally sure on the head shape on this guy. So it'll be a tough decision whether to keep him or not. Not deformed. It's not, well, not what I'm really looking for. So on second thoughts, it's not going to end up getting bred. I'll probably end up selling it. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not something I'm looking for.
Thanks for watching at Stubbs Aquatics. Subscribe.
Well, thanks so very much for joining me in this edition of the Shubunkin Shuffle. Well, it's not really a dance step, but it's definitely moving stuff around, and a lot of it. That was a lot of work, but it's so worth it. For those who stuck around to the end, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, thanks again for watching. Remember to hit that like button, think about subscribing, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. We'll see you in the next video. Remember, keep on keeping on. Bye for now.